looks like we've got everybody here, so we are going to go ahead and kick off with this week's AMA. As a reminder, we're going to do a little bit of a couple updates from a few people, and then we're going to go through some questions that we've had submitted on the Raptor site, and we will go from there. So to kick us off, first and foremost, is the friskiest of foxes.
Thank you, Bolan. And hey, everyone. Good to be back. Last AMA, I was traveling during the AMA time and I missed it. But I went and read the recap and it was really good stuff. Excited to be back. I think the most important thing that's happened this last week, well, I mean, there's a lot of things, and probably some people are like, hey, that's not as important as this. But I was really excited about the Professions quests launching on Crystalvale. It was a really big moment. We've been working hard on that, and it's really the first step down the path of trying to get to like the feature parity across our realms, and to give players a real choice of like where they would like to quest, where they'd like to play our game, and allowing people to sort of exist on like multiple realms at the same time. And if they want to support one chain over another, they can choose that. Or if they want to be on all chains and sort of have the whole experience, that's also there as well. And that's sort of in line with the vision that we've had from the very start. So I know a ton of effort went into that, from, like Beetle Dude, Magnus, moved mountains for this to happen. And really big kudos to him there. He'll be speaking about that more here in a bit, and I think some stats as well. So that's really exciting. And then also there was a lot of art that is over there in those realms, and there was a lot of artists and like effort that was involved there as well. So really good stuff. Also lore, and I believe a little bit of like mechanics as well. Well, more than a little bit. Sorry, Hubert. I know you guys were working on those for quite some time. So really big effort across the board. I think we really knocked that out of the park, and I just want to give a big kudos to our team for that launch, and hopefully you here in the community feel that way as well. Another update, looks like Pieface changed her profile picture, which we can all be happy about. And other things that she's been doing, we launched the merch site recently. And I think she's got some stats there to share, and information about that she'll be providing. We've got some outstanding Crystalvale Gen Zero raffles that we're trying to finish up. We've got the information for that pulled. We have a scheduled tentative time that we'll be announcing soon, if we haven't already, from Bolan, that he'll be putting out when we're going to hold that raffle. It'll be live in the same format that we've done our other raffles in the past. So stay tuned for that. That'll be exciting. And Dreamer has some exciting updates too. And, we'll just kind of start to have them kind of come up to the stage and speak about their things. So that's it from me for the overview. And I'll be chiming in here and there as we go. Back to you, Bolan.
Thank you. Yes, real quick, just to go ahead and put it out there. So the leaderboard Gen Zero raffles from May are the ones that we're going to be knocking out. We do have a time planned for that. I'm going to confirm with our stream runner that that's good right after this, and then I'll put that time out as well as the spreadsheet so everybody can see what entries there are, if they have any entries, how many they have, etc. So all of that will be pretty much immediately following the AMA, so stay tuned for that, and it'll be good to go. And then I wanted to go to Dreamer next for his updates.
Thanks, Bolan. Hi, everybody. So I think just to recap priorities, priority number one is Crystalvale parity. And, it's incredible how fast we saw the turnaround and the go live with fishing and foraging quests in Crystalvale. I think, we've had the Hero Bridge live, and there was some summoning happening, and there was a tavern there, but this is really exciting in terms of the the activity that we'll have on the Avalanche powered subnet. So excited about that, and the future productivity and functionality and enhancements to Crystalvale. Not beating around the bush on the still uncertainty of level of uncertainty on Harmony. But we do want to make sure. I mean, that one question that was very well worded last week on concerns with performance, your gas fees, and the bridge incident, and just wanted to make sure that we have a stable environment to play and build from. Not only have we said it's important, but this is the first step to show a lot of good building, coding, problem solving in the bear market. So I just wanted to double celebrate that with Fox and others, and I know we'll hear more about that. But as it relates to Harmony, we don't have very many updates directly from them yet. I can't say that they have been reaching out and trying to be thoughtful about anything that they might be able to do for our community as it relates to those that might have been impacted by the bridge. We tried to be very transparent from our perspective how we were all impacted, and just give them as much information as we could. See kind of what happens there from their end and which direction they decide to go. We're cheering them on and wishing them well. We've also been having other conversations in full transparency about Serendale and where it might be a place for it to live if it isn't Harmony. If all signs point to it being the best option for everybody in the community. Again, we're going to leave like name dropping and things out of it, because our strategy has never been to like overhype something prior to any decision or release. We really try to have the work speak for itself. But this has been, as it relates to fundraising, this has been the single most important thing, or I guess has become the single most important thing, because prior to the bridge incident, we were going at 120 miles an hour with many people that were interested in Kingdom Studios fundraise. And when this happened, a lot of questions came up that we're looking to find the right, not overly reactive, but the right solution long term. And it really affects all the inputs to valuation. What chains you're on? Who are your partners? How are the tokenomics structured? What's your future user acquisition plan? How are you ensuring business continuity? How do we, work to avoid being as exposed to certain protocols or things in the future? And any knowledgeable investor needs the answer to those. And conversations around that where you don't have the answer, it really puts us in a stance of, I don't want to say weakness, but it's not a position of strength. So Crystalvale parity and a good solid plan for Serendale, whether that is a better relationship with Harmony or a new relationship with somebody else and improving from there, that really sets us up to effectively raise from a position of strength. So we have kind of almost intentionally continued to, spread our net, so to speak, with those that are interested in fundraising, but we're seeking short-term capital injections for those priority 1 and 2s as a way to continue to build, continue to have a treasury to pay those that are working and building, but also not rush into what could end up being like an unfavorable or a not well-educated decision in that process. So that's the full transparency there. I will say, though, had one really, really exciting conversation last week, have a follow-up discussion with that group tomorrow, where we're already moving towards talking to their investment team as it would relate to a capital injection, a meaningful capital injection related to a possibility of a home for Serendale. This potential also has a very unique set of characteristics of future growth, user acquisition, and overall support and partnership. So we'll leave the update there. It is positive. Sorry, it's not as maybe transparent as people are wanting, but definitely proud of the progress we've made and being very, very intentional about the order in which we progress in these various directions with the limited resources we have and with some of the things we just don't have control over, like the performance of Harmony and the question marks around the incident and those next steps. So can't overspeak there, but we are doing all we can with what we can control.
Yeah, I have just a couple of thoughts there too. It's a very unique circumstances that I don't think anyone really foresaw, but having an event like the Harmony Bridge hack really impacts DeFi in such a big way, because suddenly basically all of the coins that were bridged across there are now, aren't backed by anything over on the other side. So then as a DEX and as the largest DEX here, with most of our pairs being pairs from that bridge, it just really hit us in such a unexpected way. So like, were we impacted? Were the members of our community impacted? Yes, in a very, very big way. And trying to figure out what can be done about that or what the future looks like is very tricky to do, because it's not something that really is in our realm of control. We have to kind of like hope and pray for harmony over on that side to see whatever it is they can do there. But from our side, we are also learning, like, let's make sure that we don't have a like majority of our pairs in like our stuff in our decks from one bridge. Like we had other pairs that were from other bridges that actually I think we initiated having that initial liquidity even beyond Harmony chain at all. So like we kind of brought other pairs to this chain through other bridges, which was nice because then we had those to fall back on. I just wish we had more of them. And so that was sort of like one of the lessons we've learned there. And that's basically the story of all of these things with the bear markets is you work through them, you gain experience, you find out what worked, what didn't work last run. You're that much more prepared for the next time around, like basically all of the companies that are in this space that can make it through these learn valuable lessons and are that much stronger for it. And so to sort of mirror what Dreamer was saying about trying to move into a position of strength for things like valuations and those types of discussions, those are all very critical things that he's doing a really great job on. So major kudos to him there as well.
For sure. There's a lot. And thankfully we have Dreamer and others who are able to stay on top of it and keep things progressing and keep things moving in a positive direction. Before we move on, I wanted to see if anybody had anything they wanted to add to that before we switch topics a little bit. I'll take that as a no. We've been talking about questing on Crystalvale a little bit. So let's talk about a little bit of stats behind the questing on Crystalvale, which I think is a combination of Magnus and Beetledude, maybe?
Sure is. Cool. Yeah, I'll talk about it from the front end perspective, and I'll kick it over to Magnus to talk about some stuff. One impressive thing I saw Synapse post the other day is that we transferred they transferred 20,000 heroes across from Harmony over to DFK chain, which was pretty impressive in 48 hours. So that was really cool to hear that things were working pretty well for that amount of volume moving across. Other than that, we did release fishing and foraging, and I think everything went pretty smoothly in that regard. We do have we've got other things coming, so I thought maybe I'd give a really quick kind of recap of what else is coming with Crystalvale parity. So we got fishing and foraging. Last week I mentioned that we would be prioritizing Meditation Circle pretty soon after. So that might be the next thing coming. We also have the item bridge that we're working closely with Layer 0 on trying to get that implemented, so that we can have those items from Serendale moved over to our DFK chain and be able to use that in both locations. So that's progressing well. I think we're getting close to being in a testing phase for that. We have the training quests, but we also have like mining quests and things, which will probably come a little bit before that. So that'd be gold and crystal mining. I've seen some really cool art for the Alchemist zone in Crystalvale and some pretty cool NPCs from Second Best Ad. So excited to be working on those at some point. And then I know that we would really like to bring DFK duels over to Crystalvale. as soon as possible, because I think that'd be a great feature to have with the really quick transaction times that we have in Crystalvale and on DFK chain. That's a lot of it. I'm sure there's more, and we'll continue kind of keeping everybody posted on what's coming next and what to get excited about. But yeah, we're building away on our side and doing a great job. I've been seeing a lot of cool stuff come through, so excited to be bringing that to y'all. And I think, yeah, go ahead, Fox.
Sorry to button. I'm excited about duels over there. I think launching our first real duel season. I mean, like we've been kind of in the preseason here on Harmony, and we've learned a lot from the preseason. We have some really good feedback on the website, the like Rapid R site that I've been reading. I haven't answered all of them, and I have some things on my to-do list to go answer as well. But it's really been spurring a lot of thought on how we want to structure that. And there will for sure be changes with how we do like rankings and matchmaking and all that type of stuff. But Duel does a lot of transactions, and a lot of those transactions are quite heavy, and so it costs a lot of gas. And with Harmony just recently like raising their gas again, it's actually kind of expensive here to do those as well, which impacts the play to earn model that they have. And, all of that was very carefully balanced as well to try to be deflationary against the tokens, yet still compelling and competitive and fun to drive that. And I think if you can find that balance there, then the play to earn aspect will win. It'll actually work. If it's not in balance, then you have to kind of like monitor that and tweak it as you go. But we've learned a lot from that from the preseason. But I think having it actually launch the official like season 1 of that over there, I think would be really cool. We kind of talked about potentially having it in both places, which we could still do. The risks of that is then you're essentially splitting your pool of players. So trying to keep those in balance across 2 chains with the like rewards versus the inputs can be tricky as well. So we're still not sure yet if we're going to have certain like mini games like that involve a lot of matchmaking, have them be on like multiple chains or have them be on one chain, or even do something completely outside of the box where maybe like we could do something across chain with like layer 0 or something where we could still allow competition across multiple chains, which would be really cool, but also very tricky. So there's a few things we're thinking about. But I am very excited about duels. I've been looking at those things on the feedback posts, and there's a lot of really good ideas there that we will for sure implement as well. Just my little plug for duels. Also, it would be cool to add on guests from Duels Be Standard. I was thinking about that as well.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, it'll be exciting to get all that over in Crystalvale as well. And then I think Mangus had some stats to share, which would be cool to hear when he's ready.
Yeah, sure thing. So quick update from the Solidity side of things. We're hard at work this week migrating the gold and crystal mining quests, DFK chain. We followed up by training quests. Also been working with our partners, Layer 0 and Synapse, to get the rest of the bridging solutions deployed. And then, as far as the stats for bridging and the Crystalvale quests, that we're up to 42K so far when I checked the quest counter half an hour ago. So really loving to see the activity there. That's it for me.
I think I'll just add on what Fox was saying. To me, it kind of broke up at the end there, so I don't know if this point came across, but with the stats that Magnus shared and the progress and the activity on Crystalvale, one big difference here is that we're not only using Joule for gas, but we're burning Joule as we use it for gas. And same thing, as we get DFK duels over there as well, it'll be a additional Joule burn. It'll also start feeding, Crystalvale quest funds and the floating Jewel funds and everything. So there's a pretty big trickle effect with the migration, or if not a migration, with the added utility on the subnet, really starting to use it for what it was intended for. Hopefully high performance, low fees, and with the additional cherry on top of a jewel burn. So really excited about the progress there. And Fox, I think you made a comment similar to that, but on my side anyway, it got all distorted. So I just wanted to add to it and make sure that was clear.
Awesome.
Yep.
Appreciate it very much. Sorry, Fox, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, sorry, I broke up on my side. But yeah, no, that is the excitement for me. Is just adding utility to jewels and to all of our tokens is always very high on our list. And the more we can add there, the better.
For sure. I was just going to add from a community side, the feedback on questing on Crystalvale has all been extremely positive. Even when the words were first said in this AMA, the chat was all talking about how much they love it and how great it's been. So it's definitely been very, very well received and very welcome from the experience side as well. So always very nice. And then I wanted to go to Pieface for some merch updates.
Yeah, cool. So merch updates. I'm so excited and so happy for each and every single order in the merch store. We actually had 57 orders. There was 3,714 visitors. And our top 3 products are stickers, bloater beanie, and the Serendale shirt. And if you guys haven't noticed already, we actually have the store link at the East Marketplace in the game. It's kind of like where the hatchery guy is, and then it's behind him. So yeah, I actually was looking at that. I was like, oh, is this like a merch dungeon? But but anyways, just to give some updates on progress on other products even. Fanny pack for sure is in progress. Bloater plushie is in progress as well. I'm talking to a factory and they'll let me know when they've finished the samples. And then we have a Profession Quest shirt that's being prepped for the community, actually, because we want the community to submit some ideas for a quote to go on the back of the shirt. We'll be sharing details on that later this week. So as you guys receive orders, please share. I'm so excited. It would make me so happy to see pictures of the merch and the merch in the wild. So thanks, everyone.
Yes, merch picks always welcome. So we are going to go to some questions that have been submitted. We have a handful, so we're just going to work our way through those. The first one was prefaced as potentially more of a question for Harmony, which overall it is, but I'm not sure if they've given any indication that we may know of, so I'm going to pass it on anyway. But it may be one that we don't have an answer to. Do we know, is Harmony planning on readjusting gas fees / decreasing them, or is this their new kind of standard gas fee? Anybody know by chance?
I don't think we have information on that, but Dreamer he also unmuted.
Sure what goes behind it. I do know that it's probably one of the many things they're looking at figuring out.
You're kind of quiet over there, Dreamer. I don't know if it's just me.
I'm sure they're very well aware of the disruption of increasing the fees, so I imagine they didn't do it without thinking that disruption, and if they had a plan to just in short order reverse it back. So if I were to speculate, I would say probably not seeing a short-term adjustment until their overall game plan adjusted any. But we haven't gotten any special insider information on that being a short-term thing that would go back to the whitelist. Unfortunately, that might be the case. We just don't.
Gotcha. Yeah, you were a little quiet there, but I could hear you. For anybody who couldn't hear, basically, we don't know for sure currently. We haven't had a particular indication from them one way or another yet. However, it is assumably linked to their overall plans. They are aware of the impact that it has. And so as they sort out their overall plans, we may see some more adjustments on that front, but nothing specifically indicated yet. Is that about right, Dreamer?
Yeah, I think my headphones died right before talking. I'm sorry, because after I stopped and he started, I'm like, okay. And I realized it was my fault. I'll just do a quick recap. I would say if we were to speculate, I'd say that it was probably an intentional decision that didn't have an intent, like an intentional short-term reversing, given the level of disruption it brings. So I imagine if we were to operate on the zero information we have, that we should just assume that there isn't going to be an adjustment back in the short term. But I do I do think and I'm aware that they are planning out many things right now with everything going on. And I'm sure this is one important input that they probably can't finalize anything specific on until the rest are all figured out. So we don't want to speak for and behalf of Harmony. They haven't given us this direct information. We could speculate. And I think that the safest speculation there is that we should assume no change and can continue to work towards what we can to offer a solution on Crystalvale with, good performance, lower fees, a working bridge, and stability. And I think we'll defer to the Harmony team for any more updates on the fees and the future plan.
Yeah, I just have a couple thoughts there too. We did scramble last week. After that update was made on Harmony's side, it was kind of unexpected, I guess we could say. It was, I believe, in response to, I think they said bots. So we scrambled to push out a update to our interface code that would basically set the hard-coded estimated gas level higher, because up until then, a lot of the transactions that were being submitted by people would just get stuck in pending forever. And I had a lot of people reach out to me in like DMs say like, how do I unstick these transactions or how do I speed them up? And so we got that out pretty quickly. So kudos to Beetle Dude, and I actually was involved in that as well. So pat on my own back. But if anybody does have any pending transactions still showing in the interface, that's a thing that our interface does, where it'll basically remember all of the transactions that you had. And if you sped one up through MetaMask, the interface doesn't necessarily know that that happened. And so that'll just kind of always show there is one pending for like forever. So if you go to your profile, scroll down to the bottom, there's a thing there for transactions and there's a button to clear transactions. So go ahead and click that if that's still happening to you. So just putting that last little plug out there.
Awesome. Appreciate both of you and appreciate the recap, Dreamer. So thank you much. The next question that we had was around having multiple prizes in the same raffles. So these would be the duels raffles, to where like you might have multiple prizes, but they all go to the same winners essentially. So you have, a variety. You have 2 or 3 prizes. You have 3 winners, but each winner gets all 3 prizes or something along those lines. Fox, did you want to speak to that a little bit?
I did, and I think Hubert might also have some thoughts here after. But yeah, that's intentional. The way that the raffles system is created, it's pretty flexible. We can set up any number of items to be a prize. So it's kind of like a bundle that is a prize. A lot of the raffles are just like one item, and there might be like 5 winners perhaps, but there's one item. Some raffles have multiple items in it, but there's still like 4 or 5 winners of those multiple items. So basically, if you win, you get all those items, and there could be like maybe 5 winners, for example, that would get all those items, and that's basically like a bundle or a pack. And that's intentional. We did look at trying to create a bunch more simultaneous raffles. Originally, we were thinking just doing 3 raffles at a time, 1 small, 1 medium, 1 large. But then it just like wasn't as fun or compelling because if there's a like raffle that you don't like, then you might just hold off, which is fine. But having more on at a time raises the chances that there'll be something there that you're interested in. It also means that there's a lot more like winners being drawn at any given time, which means that if you're on at the right time when there's not a lot of other people, you could potentially have a lot better odds. And it's just a little bit more fun there to try to strategize about how you want to enter these raffles and like when and where. So I was excited about that. We did experiment briefly with having even, I think it was close to 40 raffles at a time. And it worked for the most part, but it really chugged along because it has all that on chain. So I had to fetch all of those from the chain and like each time and update them, and it kind of put a lot of undue stress, I think, on the chain. So we kind of like rolled that back a little bit to the current level where it's at. So, yep, I'm excited about raffles. I think it's a really great mechanism that self regulates. It drives players to like want to do duels so they can get raffle tickets, so they can get some of those really good raffles that are out there, and it will self balance. Where if there's a lot of players, then it will sort of like incentivize them to like store up those tickets and like wait for a better time. If there's not a lot of players, it will incentivize those to play more because there's a lot of really good raffles out there. So it just kind of self balances, and we'll be keeping an eye on that as we go. But I like that it's not something that we have to manually be doing with like raffles and like that. It's just all self driven from the players, and it's kind of one of the first of its kind things I've seen out there on the blockchain. So really cool, and it was a lot of fun to build. Hubert, any thoughts about the balancing or the format of the raffles?
Let's see. I think how we have it is it's kind of the a good compromise, I think, for what we were going for. I think just to reiterate and to address what I think is the concern. Some people don't like that there are potentially one person can win more than one of the 5 wins that are available per raffle. That is true. But the intent with the raffle system and the way we set it up is, like Fox mentioned, you can save up your raffle tickets and try to go hard on a given raffle, and you might get lucky and get multiple wins by doing that. But other people could be doing that too, and I think what we're seeing is, that it's a very dynamic system, and having all of the raffles be single winner and just having more of them like we try to do, maybe in the future we'll work out ways to be less intensive on the blockchain so we could do something like that. But at least for now, with it on Harmony, I don't think we really have that as an option. So I think for the time being it's going to be as is. But yeah, I also I worked on the balancing for the rewards, and I think how we have it set up right now is in a pretty good state, but we're always going to be looking at improving it as we go along too. So that's all I think I have to say on it.
Thank you both. And Hubert, you actually followed up on the second part, which might have intended to be the first part, but I read the question differently about having the same person be able to win multiple times. But as you said, there's limited options there, and you start getting into multi-walleting concerns and etc. So that makes a lot of sense, and I appreciate the clarification from both of you gentlemen on that front. Another question that we had was about the final Crystalvale Gen 0 drawings. As we said earlier, but just to repeat, shortly after this AMA, I'm going to be announcing the date and time for that drawing, or those drawings, I should say, as well as putting out the spreadsheet that has all of the entries on it. So everybody will be able to take a look at that data prior to the streamed raffle. We will live stream the raffle just like we've done in the past on YouTube, and then it'll be recorded as well for everybody to be able to watch later. So same format as we've done before, but we will be doing that this week, and I will be announcing that day and time pretty much right after this AMA. So stay tuned for that. And then the following question is a 2-part, and we'll start with the second one, so duplicate pages for the Eternal Story, as far as a method to trade the pages and what to do with duplicates, etc. I think Hubert and maybe Fox, maybe Magnus, whoever wants to chime in.
Let's see. I think probably I'm the most appropriate on that. Yeah. So as far as after the first period is over for the pages, there likely will be some left over, and what can you do with those? We have a few different ideas that we were looking into doing. One was to be able to use them to get additional lore. And then also I'm thinking that we will potentially have a trade-in option as well, to trade in a certain number of those old pages to get a new page from the new set. It'll likely not be a 1-for-1, but yeah, I think we can do something like that. And I know right now the pages aren't really easily transferred because they're of the token type they are. Once we get the order book system out, that should take care of being able to buy and sell those, because it does support the 1155 format. And I don't know, Magnus, if you have anything more you wanted to add about those pages and the format they're in. I think that's basically, hopefully that answered the question.
The only other thing I'll add is that the item bridge is going to support ERC 1155s, so that will be a possibility as well to bridge those.
Awesome. Appreciate it. I did actually want to circle back for just a minute, and this will probably be a Fox question about the raffles again. Sorry. When the raffle goes to draw winners, essentially just what process it follows, how many times are they shuffled, that kind of thing. If it's possible to do a brief overview on that.
Yeah, sure. I sort of mentioned earlier that this is kind of a unique, one-of-a-kind thing on the blockchain. We were trying to figure out a way to have it be completely self-sustaining, so that players could like end the raffle once the time is up, and then draw the winners, and then start a new raffle. And we have to have a certain amount of transactions there to ensure that the randomness is not messed around with. So that's why there's a separate close transaction and then a separate draw transaction, and anybody can do those. Once the raffle is past the end date, then it won't allow any more entries, and somebody has to actually put it into the closed state. And what that does is it switches the status of the raffle to be closed, first of all, but it also puts a block number in there for the time that it was closed, basically. And that block number is used as the basis for the next transactions that will ensure and secure the randomness of the draw winner. Because the draw winner, it doesn't matter at that point who clicks it, because we are already using things that have already been done and set in stone with the previous transaction that couldn't have been foreseen because of the sort of random nature of the amount of transactions that are going in on the blockchain on a healthy chain, and all that. So basically, it's the same random mechanism that we use for hero summoning, for questing, for meditation circle, and for a bunch of others. So anybody can click draw, and what that does is it will use the secured random seed from the previous closed transaction. It has to be a number of blocks after that has happened. I think it's 10. I could be wrong. And then it will basically just say, okay, how many winners are in here? Who are all the people that have entered, and how many tickets did they enter? And it looks up, or it'll essentially draw a random number between 0 and the total amount of entries, and they'll see where that falls in the of the amount of tickets that were in there, and then whoever owns that ticket gets that price. So it will do that however many times that the raffle is set up to have for their winners. So if there's 5 winners, it'll do that 5 times. and then it will mint those items. It has the like role to mint those items assigned to that smart contract, and then it will create new airdrops that can be claimed for that item for that person that won. So it'll basically mint those items to the airdrop claim contract, and then it'll set up a airdrop claim record for those winners so that they're able to go to the airdrops and claim them. And it's pretty elegant, honestly, how it all works. It's just everything kind of flows. It utilizes and kind of builds off of other things we've built already, like the airdrop system, and it's just a lot of fun. So yeah, that's how it works. Hopefully that helped to clear things up. If there's interest, I might be able to give more of a deeper dive in the future offline, perhaps, of how like the code works as well.
Yeah, that definitely. I think that cleared up the immediate question. I won't pretend that there wouldn't be interest in a deeper dive of that code, because I'm sure there would be. But that did clarify the immediate question. It was, we were basically looking at it versus like the Gen 0 drawings that we'll be doing, where the script is shuffling the actual entries each time. So that makes a lot of sense. And then the final question that we had to touch on today is around the initial custom Gen Zeros and the recessive genes as far as the descendants go. Basically, not necessarily like specifics of what or when, but mostly who will be impacted. Will all of the descendants be impacted, etc. As far as the recessive genes passing down through those lines. And then, if there are rerolls, if we have anything planned yet for like crystals or other extra tiers or other items that have been applied to those heroes. So that's probably going to be primarily Hubert.
Okay. Yeah, I can address that. I guess I'll answer that last part first, just since it's the most fresh. I think, with these genes, the only things that were affected were the passive and active skill genes. So any crystals or stones that were spent on those heroes would not have touched those genes in any way. So I wouldn't expect any that we would do anything with crystals or that for those heroes. But as far as like the intent, obviously we need to re-roll the genes for the heroes 1 through 19, and then as far as descendants go, we do intend to re-roll any genes that were any of those like particular genes that were not basic, that were either advanced, elite, or transcendent. We would be we've already kind of devised a process, and thanks to Mr. Zipper for doing the legwork on this, but we have a process where we can easily see that a gene has passed from one of those heroes down into the descendants, and if it's any gene that has not been legitimately acquired through mutations, that specific gene would be re-rolled. So it wouldn't be a full re-roll of all of your active and passive genes. It would be just if it's your R2 on active 1 is, came from one of the 1 through 19, and it's a faulty one, then that one would be re-rolled. And that's a pretty intensive amount of data to do that. So it hasn't been a major priority for us to do it right away since combat's not out yet. But as time goes on, that list does continue to grow a little bit if people summon with those heroes and those genes pass along. But yes, the general intent is that any genes that were obtained through those heroes, the 1 through 19 that were active or passive genes, we would be targeting those specifically and re-rolling those specifically. If there are other genes in those pools that players were able to mutate on their own, we would not be touching those, and it's not going to be a full re-roll of everything.
That makes a lot of sense. And just to clarify, to make things as simple as possible, any descendant that has those genes that were not a natural mutation will have that reroll, correct?
That's right.
Perfect. I think that's been the biggest thing, is just, making sure that when people are hero shopping, they can plan accordingly. So I very much appreciate that clarification. With that, that is all of the questions that we have for this week. If y'all have more questions, please submit them to either the AMA questions channel or the dfk.rapidr.io site, preferably the RapidR, but we do still use AMA questions as well. But RapidR is a little more organized. And actually, Fox, did we set up that new URL?
Yeah, I was about to plug that. We did, and I don't think we've announced it yet. We were just kind of playing around with it, but I believe you can go to talk.df or talk.defykingdoms.com, and it's the exact same site. So if you don't want to remember RapidR, just remember talk.df or .defykingdoms.com. So yep, go check it out. We spent some time speaking about this, I think earlier today, about how we need to have a plan in place for sort of like who can own which sections on our team, so that we can ensure that all of the feedback is being reviewed by a team member and can be like promptly responded to. And the intent of this site is to be a kind of like a brainstorming place. It's not like here's a request, here's an answer. It's like, let's sit down and let's actually have a discussion about these things, like more of like a very focused thing that we can't really do over on Discord effectively, because it's kind of like each item is its own thread. And so having it here makes a lot of sense, and we're going to be really basically doubling down on it. And I think it's been really effective for what we've seen so far, and I think we can make it be even more effective by just basically using it more as a team and as a community. So we'll be doing that more as well. So thanks to everyone who has put up some posts there and added to the discussions there as well. And I'm excited about it.
Most definitely. I'm excited about that custom URL because I like it. Awesome. So we are going to go ahead and get wrapped up. So we'll go around for any last thoughts. I feel like I haven't heard Pieface talk in a while. Pie, any last thoughts?
Yeah. My last thought is think about some Profession Quest t-shirt ideas on what would go on the back. What are some fun quotes to put on the back of a Professions Quest t-shirt? But yeah, thank you guys. Bullish.
Awesome. Beetle?
Yeah. Get out there and quest, and look forward to some more quests coming soon. Godspeed and good questing. That's my catchphrase.
That's always the sign off, right? Hubert, any last thoughts?
Not too much. We're just working hard on getting feature parity all taken care of, and once that's done, we'll be focusing on new content again. So appreciate everyone's patience as we do this. I think it's really important given the situation that we're under, and I hope you all understand what was the basis behind us kind of shifting our priorities here. But I'm looking forward to us getting everything up and running over on Crystalvale, and then being able to start getting new content out again. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Magnus?
Hope y'all are enjoying your experience on DFK chain, and look forward to the quest coming out soon.
Awesome. Dreamer?
Yeah, I'd just say if people are enjoying, the merch that you've ordered, as Pieface requested, go to social media, maybe share a comment or a picture, or in Discord. You are enjoying your experience with Synapse Bridge, go to social media, note Synapse, note the gamification that you used for the docs. If you are enjoying the experience on Crystalvale through questing and everything, I do think that every bit of positivity that is not hype or fake, but is real and backed by personal experience, it helps. So for those that are enjoying your experience and are interested and willing to sharing it with others, feel free to do so. It'll be appreciated. It's a great way to participate in the overall, being a part of a Web3 project. And for those that have an experience that they like, but things that they want to suggest to be enhanced or different, understanding we do have limited resources, but we are interested to hear. Please do use that Repertor site. You've heard us mention it a few times. And if you notice, we didn't have live questions today because we do want to drive people to the site, and Bolons and others are doing a great job at reading those, seeing what's voted up, seeing what's popular, and then even midweek trying to apply certain inputs and conversations or changes. And it seems like it's working, pretty well. So appreciate everybody. Thank you for partnering with us. Thank you for being so loyal, and thank you for both the support publicly and the feedback and the help. More publicly, but still privately and directly.
Thank you, Dreamer. And last but certainly not least, we will have Fox take us home.
Thank you, Bolin, and thanks everyone here on the team. As you can see, I think we've been in a bear market officially for months now. And these things, it's really interesting to see the cycles, like last time, I always say last time, but what was it, like 2018 was the last time we saw a really big thing like this. And everyone was like, okay, crypto, that's it. It's dead. There's no future. It was a fun experiment, but ultimately just a like smoke and mirrors or something. That was the sentiment. And before that, I think like 2 or 3 years before that, same exact thing, same sentiment. Of course, we can look back in history and say, okay, well, it actually came back really strong, and there was a lot of new things built during that bear market. Notably, like Uniswap, I think was built during that time. Axie Infinity, a lot of really cool things were built during that time, and a lot of the innovations in the space happened during that time, when the true believers and like the builders, those that are actually passionate about the technology behind it, those are the people that stick around, that aren't just there for trying to make a quick buck here and there, but that are actually building things, experimenting with things, trying to see what works. That's what this space is all about. That's what technology is all about. Every single person up here on stage with me is a person who has that long range vision, who can say, you know what, we have a belief in the future of what something like this could be, and we're here and still churning out features, still working hard every week through the pain. Like you have to build through the pain sometimes, and it is hard, and it takes a certain kind of person to do that. And every single person up here, like I said, is that kind of person. On the same coin, on like the other side of the coin, it takes a special kind of person to stick it out in the community as well. A lot of people during these times, like the euphoria is kind of like fleeting when like everything is down. But those that have the belief in like the long term possibilities that are there for this technology stick around, and like they're here for fun, they're here for the community, but they're also here because they are interested in like the economics and like in like the tech of it, and they have the interest in the future there for it as well. So all of you guys here, for the most part, I'm sure, are also in that same boat. So I just want to say thank you to the team for all of your hard work, for sticking it out. Obviously, we have lost some people along the way, but those that are here have basically doubled or even tripled down on their commitment to this like really great experiment, this like really great project that we have this plan for, and we're just still here. We're still building. We're still trying to make that become a reality. And all of you guys here in the community, a very big thank you to all of you as well for continuing to support us, to be optimistic, and to be excited about the things that we're building, because that's really what it's about. We build as a community and as a team, and it's really a decentralized approach to creating this cool new protocol, this cool new thing that will continue on for the future as well. So I consider it a pleasure to be here and to have the opportunity to build with all of you guys, and to build this really cool, groundbreaking thing that hasn't ever been tried before. So I guess with that, I'll just say I'm excited to continue to build, and really bullish on the outlooks for this project in the future and for the things that we are currently working on. So thank you, everyone. Bullish.
Bullish.
Bullish.